everyone, welcome to Botany Insider. So in this lecture we'll be discussing with one more topic from unit 12, and that is about the transgenic plants and animals. We'll discuss about that what is transgenic organisms, then we would be dealing with the various methods that are used for this particular process, and then we would be individually understanding about that what are the various transgenic plants and animals available with their examples. So let's understand about that what are transgenic organisms. So we can say a genetically modified organism is any organism whose genetic material has been altered using the genetic engineering techniques. So in simple words we can say that a transgenic organism or a genetically modified organisms, we can call it the both way round. So a genetically modified organism is a one that have its genetic material being altered by using the various engineering techniques. It involves the development of the transgenic plants and the animals through the insertion of the genes from the other species into their genome. So what we are actually doing is that we are taking the host organism that we want to alter, and from any other organism of its species or of its any other species, so we would be inserting the genes from the organism that we have taken for the desired characteristic, and we would be inserting those genes into the genome of our host organism. When we look at the commercial crops, so in comparison to the commercial crops, what are the improvements that are possible when we understand about the genetically modified organisms, or as a result of a formation of a transgenic organism, the following features could be observed, that is more of disease resistant, more of drought resistance, insect and pest resistance could be increased, there could be improvement in the nutrient contents, and also there could be extended shelf life, and in addition there could also be pharmaceutical delivery. So these are the various features that could be worked upon, and many others in addition to these, in order to provide the transgenic organisms a successful outcome. So let's understand a bit more about. So transgenic organisms contain the foreign DNA that has been introduced using biotechnology. And the way in which these foreign DNAs are introduced, we'll be discussing about all those methods in detail in the subsequent slides. The foreign DNA, that is the transgene, is defined here as the DNA from another species or else recombinant DNA from the same species that have been manipulated in the laboratory and then reintroduced. The transgenic organisms are widespread in the agriculture. We'll be discussing about the various organisms that have been genetically modified with their examples. So let's talk about the various methods by which we could transfer the gene from the organism that we have selected, which contains the desirable characteristic, into the organism of which we want to increase the characteristics. So there are various methods. In general, there are 4 methods. The first one is the DNA transfer in the protoplast. Then we could use the free DNA transfer to the intact tissues. The third method that we could use is the agrobacterium mediated gene transfer method, and the final one is the integration and the expression. So these are the general methods that we could use, but if we look at the various methods in terms of the natural gene transfer or the artificial gene transfer, we have the 2 bifurcations. So gene transfer is basically of 2 types, or we can say it is of 2 natures. In case of the natural gene transfer, we could use the bacterial transformation, we could use conjugation, phase transduction, or we could also use the retroviral transduction, transposition by the transposome, and also the agrobacterium mediated tumifacicum mediated gene transformation. And when we look at the artificial gene transfer, it could either be via the physical methods or the chemical methods. When we look at the physical methods, we could use electroporation, biolistic transformation, gene gun, protoplast fusion, and microinjection. And when we look at the chemical methods, we could use either the liposome mediated gene transfer, calcium phosphate mediated gene transfer, and these 2. So we need not to go into the depth of these methods. I'll try to simplify these methods in the best way possible. These are the methods that are mainly used for the animals, but some of them could be used for the plants too. But when we look at the physical methods, so these methods are mainly applicable for the transgenic plants production. And if we want to classify the methods of the gene transfer, we could classify it also on the basis of either the direct and the biological or the indirect one. So when we look at the direct methods, so the first one is the biolistic and the particle gun. The next one is PEG or the liposome. The third one is the silicon carbide. The next one is the microinjection and the macroinjection. Then we have the electroporation and also the ultrasonification. And when we look at the biological or the indirect method, the main method that is applicable is the agrobacterium mediated. So what is agrobacterium mediated gene transformation? We have dealt about this topic in complete detail in the previous videos. So I'll put the links of the same in the description box so that you can complete your topic from that particular video. So let's talk about the direct methods now. So talking about the direct method, the first one is the biolistics or the particle gun. So it is another method that is used for the gene insertion, whereby the nano-sized particles of the heavy metals, that is example gold, they are coated with the DNA and they are injected into the cells with a gene gun. So how does a gene gun looks like? So this is how a gene gun actually looks like. So the biolistic transformation enables the direct introduction of the DNA or the RNA into the plant cell. So the first one that we have studied is the direct and the biolistics. So let's move forward. So in this method, what we are actually doing is that the foreign DNA or the RNA construct is coated onto the gold or the tungsten particles. The particles are released from the gene gun by high pressure helium gases and they are directly penetrating into the host cell wall. So this is how the complete process occurs. We are using this gene gun as our equipment, and as a result of using this gene gun, what happens is, first we are coating the DNA onto the gold or the tungsten particles, and then we are using this gene gun in order to release these particles under very high helium gas pressure and directly penetrating it into the host cells. So this was about the biolistics or the gene gun. The second one is the liposomes, which is also a direct kind of method. So in this, the liposomes are oftenly used to deliver the molecular cargo such as the DNA for the therapeutic benefit. The lipids that are used to form the lipocomplex or can be cationic, anionic or the neutral one, or it could either be the mixture of cationic, anionic and the neutral one. So what are liposomes at the first go? We have discussed about the liposomes in the video when we discussed about the basics of cell. So make sure you watch that video also for a complete understanding of all the organelles including the liposomes. So in liposomes, what happens is that we are using the liposomes which contain a phospholipid bilayer around itself. Initially we have a hollow liposomes, and in this liposome what we are doing is we are inserting the genes or the proteins that we want to deliver. These liposomes are actually acting as a carrier for the DNA that we want to inject. And as a result of this, what happens is the liposome fuses with whichever cell that we want to. In this case, we are talking about the fusion of the liposome to the cancerous cell, and then we have our final function performed. The third one is the microinjection direct gene transfer. So it is the simplest gene delivery method, and it is although very simple, but it requires very much of labor. It is a laborious process. Why? Because this particular process could deliver only one cell at one time that could be injected, typically allowing only a few hundred of a cell to be transfected per experiments. It is very laborious. Why? Only one cell could be injected, but it is very simple method. So what we are doing is we are using a micro injection needle with a foreign DNA, and we are directly injecting this foreign DNA into the cytoplasm of the host cell that we want to insert into. So this was about the microinjection. The next one is the electroporation. So electroporation, which is abbreviated as EP, it involves the application of the pulsed electric fields to the cells to enhance the cell permeability, resulting in exogenous polynucleotide transit across the cytoplasmic membrane. So in this, what we are doing is we are actually using the electric fields in order to enhance the cell permeability, and as a result of electroporation, what happens is that the foreign DNA that we want to inject, it goes into the cytoplasmic membrane. Why? Because these electric fields enhances the cell permeability, and as a result, the cytoplasmic membrane could allow the DNA that we want to inject into the cell of the target. So this is the basis of how the electroporation occurs. I am not going into the complete detail of how this complete process occurs. Why? Because first, it is not required for the CSIR UGC NET, and second, we only want to clear our basics for these particular topics. So make sure that you just have the basic knowledge about the same, and if you find any question related to these topics, you can at least try to solve them. So the last point about the direct gene transfer is about the ultrasonification. So in this, what we are doing is that the ultrasonic wave mediated transformation, which is also known as the sonication, it is based upon the sonoporation. And what is sonoporation? So it involves the rupture of the cellular membranes by acoustic waves. Do not go into the depth of it, and there is not enough material available for this particular type of gene transfer method. Hence, I have included whatever I found very convenient for you to understand. So this was about all the direct methods that we could use for the complete process of gene transfer. We have already covered about the agrobacterium mediated gene transformation in the previous videos, and when we study about the natural methods, in which we have to cover about conjugation and other methods. So from next week, when we would be studying about genetics, I'll try to cover these topics in that particular unit. So now let's understand about the process of gene transfer. So we can summarize the process of gene transfer in 4 key steps. There are basic steps that are followed in all of these processes. Hence, the summarization of the processes include: the first step is the isolation of the gene and the vector by the PCR. And what is PCR? It is polymerase chain reaction. We'll be dealing about it in the further videos. The second step is the digestion of the gene and the vector, and it occurs by the help of the restriction endonuclease. Then we have the ligation of the gene and the vector, and the fourth step is the selection and the expression of the transgenic constructs. So these are the 4 steps that we need to follow in the gene transfer process. So now, if we look closely, so we have the first step of gene identification, and in this, what happens is that first we are identifying the gene of interest that we want to actually insert into the target host. So we have identified that this is our gene of interest. So now we will extract this DNA. So the second step is the DNA extraction, and after DNA extraction, we will try to insert this DNA into our host. So there occurs the process of transfection. So in this process, we are using the transfection as our process. We can use any other method depending upon whichever is our host and what is the mechanism that we are using for the process. After the transfection method, what happens is that there occurs the selection of the transgenic cells. And how does the selection of transgenic cells occur? So it occurs by the process of screening. And after the selection of the transgenic cell, after the gene delivery method, we have the gene expression, in which the transgenic cells that we have selected are actually allowed to grow, and we have our genetically modified crops. So this is a very simplified form of how the complete transgenic plant formation occurs. So now let's understand about that what are transgenic plants at the first go. We'll be discussing about what are transgenic plants and what are transgenic animals both. The first one is the transgenic plants. So we can say that transgenic plants are actually the modification of the DNA using the genetically engineering techniques. The aim of the transgenic plant formation is to introduce a new trait to the plant. And what is a trait? So a trait in simple word means a feature or any characteristic that we want to include in any plant. The inserted sequence is known as the transgene. So the DNA that we have actually collected as our interest, so as you can see that this DNA that we have collected as our gene of interest, it is given the name of the transgene. So the purpose of inserting a combination of the genes in the plant so as to make it useful and productive as possible. So the main purpose for making the transgenic plants or animals, the main purpose is to make the plant or the animal more useful and more productive. Examples in the crops include the resistance to certain pests, diseases or the environmental conditions, reduction of the spoilage or the resistance to the chemical treatment. Example, the resistance to a herbicide or improving the nutrient profile of the crop. Examples of the non-food crop include the production of the pharmaceutical agents, biofuels and other industrially useful goods as well as for the bioremediation. And what is bioremediation? We have discussed in detail about bioremediation and also phytoremediation. I'll also put the links of these videos as well in the description. One thing you have to remember, that life science is not an individual study. You have to interlink the topics. That is, it is not that if you have studied any topic in one unit, you would leave it there itself. It would be applicable in any other topic as well. So you can see that we have so many interlinks possible in this particular video itself. So you can understand that what is the importance of interlink and what is the importance of clearing out every topic in the best way possible, so that if you understand one topic at one place, you would be able to apply it to the other places as well. So make sure you have a habit of linking your topics. I try to link every topic in each of the videos as much as possible, so that for you to have a better and a more fulfilling studies properly done, so that you could score good and you have a better understanding of the topic as well. So talking about the examples of the transgenic plants, famously we have these transgenic plants available. The first one is the BT cotton, which have the properties of pest resistance, herbicide tolerance and high yielding plants. Talking about the flavor saver tomato, so the main properties that are seen are delayed ripening and better nutrient quality. The third one is golden rice, which have the capacity of a very high vitamin A rich rice. Then we have potato that have also been transgenically produced with very high protein content. Then we have corn and brinjal having the insect resistance provided. The last one is the soybean and maize, in which the herbicide resistance was provided as a result of the transgene or as a result of improving their qualities. So if we look at the various qualities that could be improved as a result of the genetic modification are: the first one is insect resistance, then is bioenergy, herbicide resistance, salt tolerance, drought tolerance. Nitrogen use efficiency could be improved, improving the photosynthesis. Water use efficiency could be improved. Then we have biofortification, metabolic engineering and also the biofuel production. So these are the various fields in which we could improve the characteristic of the plant or the crop plant that we are targeting upon. So let's talk about the transgenic animals now. We have discussed about the various methods of transgenic organism production. We discussed about the transgenic plants. So now the last topic is about the transgenic animals. So the transgenic animals are the animals that are most commonly mice. The most common transgenic animal that is seen is the mice that had been given the foreign gene deliberated inserted into their genome. Such animals are most commonly created by the micro-injection technique. We have already discussed about this in the last slides that we just discussed. Micro-injection of the DNA into the pronuclei of a fertilized egg, which is subsequently implanted into the oviduct of the pseudo-pregnant surrogate mother. So, if we look at the various methods by which a transgenic animal could be produced, the first method could be the pronucleus microinjection plus the viral vectors. So in this, what we are doing is that we are injecting the pronuclear DNA by the help of microinjection technique, and there occurs a random transgene integration, and as a result of that we have the formation of the transgenic organism. In this, we are using the viral vectors as the carriers. The second method is the cell mediated genetic modification. So in this, we are actually using the cultured primary cells, and by the help of the transposons viral vectors, we are actually doing the random transgene integration, gene targeting and gene editing. By the help of electric activation, we are completing the process, and as a result we have the transgenic organism. The third process that could be used is the direct modification of the embryos. So in this, the cytoplasmic injection of the fertilized oocyte or the zygote of the RNA and the protein of the endonuclease. This process is performed, and as a result we have the final result. With this, we are done with the complete topic of transgenic plants and animals in the best way possible. I have tried to include every detail which I could in this particular video itself. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. And also, I'll be coming up very soon with more informative videos as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.